look who has joined us here live in our Fight Network studios, Valérie Létourneau, who's getting set to challenge Joanna Jedrzejczyk next month at Etihad Stadium. It's going to be a huge event at UFC 193, but you're back here in Toronto, a native of Canada, but you have been enjoying the Florida sun. Is it a bit of a culture shock now, coming back to the cold up north here?
Not a culture shock. It's not winter yet, so it's not such a big shock. No, I try to stay away from winter now.
When did you make the full-time move down to Florida?
About 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Do you get back to Montreal a lot?
More for my daughter. Usually I go there, see some of my families, but not too often. I like to keep training and I like to keep my pace in training, so 1 week or two maximum.
Is this something different for you in terms of this fight and just the scope of everything? Doing media tours and so much focus on this particular fight, is it somewhat overwhelming for you, or are you taking it all in stride?
I wouldn't say overwhelming, but that's a lot of work. I think people don't realize there's a lot of work behind this. And then also with my daughter, I have my daughter full-time in Florida with me, and I'm alone with her. So it's just, I'm trying to keep the balance and everything, but I'm pretty busy.
Does she understand about this fight and your whole career and the idea that mom is going to be fighting in front of 60,000 people, or does she not quite grasp how big this is?
She understands, but I'm going to say again, impressed. She's not impressed by none of that. She's not like, it's like whatever for her. You know, she grew up at TriStar. She's seen GSP many times a day. Whatever I try to explain her, like something special is going on, she's like, it's not so special for her. So she's exciting for the belt, but at the same time, there's another side of her, like, that takes all my mom's time. So she's a little bit sick of it. And I went through almost three training camp very close, you know, from each other. So I think she will need some time with me after this fight.
You know what children appreciate? They appreciate big, shiny objects. So I think if you bring the championship home, that's going to be the moment where we're like, wow, nice. Mom, why didn't you tell me all this stuff was going on?
We moved in a new place just before my fight in Saskatoon, and then when I got that call, she says, don't put anything there, this is for your belt. So I like that answer, I like it.
Oh,
so
there you go.
That place is empty right now.
She's calling the shot. When you got that phone call, I mean, it was coming right off of that fight in Saskatchewan. Was that a quick turnaround for you to come back in November? Obviously, this was an opportunity that you just can't turn down, but in an ideal situation, would you have liked it more spaced out?
I didn't know, but more the camp go, you know, more I go through my camp, honestly, I think the timing was perfect because I got in the gym and I was already top shape and I feel in the best shape of my life right now, and I still have 3 weeks to go. So now on, I know that was an awesome timing. When I got the call, I mean, I was not hesitant to take the fight, but that was one of my, I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna come fast, and I know with all the media, but you know what? This is just perfect right now. So.
You also had to do the whole media tour, going to Australia. Yeah. What was that experience like? Not only being around Joanna for that prolonged period of time, but just everything that comes with going across the world to promote a fight. I mean,
you know what? When these things happen, you just dive there and you go. You just do it. It's a day by day, and then I'm learning so much. I have so many, new experience, and I cannot complain about all that. Yes, it's stressful, but I mean, I just wake up in the morning and it's a new day, it's all new stuff, and I'm doing it. And at the end, I'm like, I'm super happy to be there.
Do you look at this as just, do you kind of try to make it look like this is just another fight? It's what I've been doing for my entire professional career? Or do you, on this promotional tour, you walk into that stadium and you look at, wow, this stadium is going to be full watching me, and you do approach it as the biggest fight of your career? How do you approach something like this?
It's the most important fight of my career, but this is what I was thinking about Moroz also, because I know beating Moroz would bring me very close from that title. I thought I would be maybe one fight from the title. So when I walked for this fight, this is what I was thinking. This is the most important fight of my career, and this is what I think for this fight too. But at the end, you just want to move forward, so it's always the most important fight of your career. But this one is probably the real one, the most important one. But I don't want to think too much about the stadium or about where I'm going to fight about. This is not going to make me a better fighter that night. So I stay focused on my training, be the best, fighter I can be that day. And the rest, I'm going to enjoy after. I'm going to look around. I'm going to see like, wow, this is where I fought. This is awesome. But for now on, I think it's just a waste of time, waste of, focus just to think about that. So no, I don't think too much about these things.
As someone, being on this card here, you have 2 championship fights, both fights involving women. In mixed martial arts, you've been fighting professionally longer than any of the other 3 women. At a time when you got into the sport, the idea of headlining a UFC event, fighting for a UFC championship, that wasn't there for you.
That was ridiculous, yeah.
And here you are. I mean, that's got to be something for you to kind of just take a step back and look at where women's mixed martial arts has evolved to, and you've been a big part of that history.
It's been, it's been crazy since 2 years how it changed, and I'm 32 years old. I've been doing martial art my whole life and go through gym where people was making fun of us. They were laughing on their face. Even when I wanted to fight pro, that was no women who was fighting pro. I was talking about in 2001, before I had my daughter. I want to do like these guys in TKO. I want to go there. I'm like, what you talking about? I've been through so much. I've been moking so many times, and then since 3 years, it just exploded. So I'm just glad that I got, all that work. I can still have, taste, the best part of it, because a lot of girls were good at that time, and then they just gave up after a few years. Of course, you want to, you don't make money, you just get injury. There's nothing, everybody's trying to discourage you to do it. So you had to be seriously strong mentally to keep going. So I'm just glad that I had the chance to, I keep going, and I'm going to enjoy these next 2-3 years that I'm going to keep fighting.
And you had as well the issue that, I mean, you were also fighting out of Montreal where there were more frequent fights. But I mean, in Canada, it can be very hard, especially now, for Canadian fighters that are coming up just to try and get fights. You had that obstacle going for you, as well as being a woman in this sport. I'm sure there were those down times for you where maybe you did contemplate doing something else. What got you through those points?
It is. I feel maybe if I would be, in a different place, I would maybe have more pro fight also. But I had so many injuries that stopped me for a long time. This is one of the other reasons that I didn't have that much of fights, because I started fighting in 2007, and I only have like 11 fights, in MMA, pro MMA. But I'm looking at, a bunch of good fighters in Montreal right now. It's pretty hard for them to get fight. This is like a sad reality. It's hard to get. You got to start somewhere. You want to get in the UFC, but where are you going to start if you can fight? And I've been through this for years. I've been waiting sometimes for a year and a half to get a fight, and you just train like crazy and there's nothing going on. It's pretty tough. And I don't live, in Montreal anymore, but I feel it's pretty much the same. Even if the sport is getting so big, I don't know why. There's so many good fighters there, but there's, promotion don't survive.
Mm-hmm. You look at Joanna Jedrzejczyk, who you will be meeting on November the 14th. She's somebody that seems to have distanced herself from the pack. There's so much focus on her right now. You said a while back that you weren't as impressed with her, that this is a lot that has been thrust upon her shoulders. Tell us about your assessment of Joanna.
It's not that I'm not impressed by Joanna, because I was looking after her, even I use her as an example. When she fought, I was looking at the way she moved. I'm like, I'm gonna work that in the gym. It's not that. It's that I've been through such a tough fight before. I'm not going there scared of what can happen. I've been hurt before. I've been punched in the face so freaking hard before. You look at my fight against Kaufman. Excuse me. Look at Kaufman beside me. I look like a little mouse beside Kaufman. So, can't be worse than that. So that's why I say I'm not impressed, because I'm not going there scared with any kind of fear. It's another fight. I know she's gonna punch hard. I know she's gonna, throw everything. She's a good fighter, but that's in that way that I'm saying, like, not that she's an impressive fighter. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm not going there with any kind of fear.
Is 115 pounds, is that the perfect weight for you? What would be, in a perfect world, what weight would you love to compete at?
120.
120?
No. Yeah, 125 would be an easy cut now, But 115 is so hard. It's just so hard to go under 120 for me, when I dehydrate or, those last few pounds. And also with the new IV, rules that, I'm worried about my rehydration, but my nutritionist is pretty positive about that. He knows what he wants to do with me, but I think 125 would be healthier, that's for sure, but I'm doing good right now, and what matters for me is my performance. People don't understand we're ready to put our body through nightmare to be there, so I don't mind to suffer as long as I can perform in a fight.
Well, we're very much looking forward to it. It's a historic card, UFC 193 in Melbourne, Australia. Valérie Létourneau, she will be challenging Joanna Jedrzejczyk for the Women's Strawweight Championship.